Hi, this presentation was originally from our Staff Development Day on November 3rd, 2020. It's called Grab Their Attention with Canva. My name is Amy Coleman. I am a music teacher at the SUES, and today I will be sharing with you one of my favorite tools to use to grab the kids' attention called Canva. Every day when I start my virtual classes with my students, I start with a fun activity for them to get warmed up on. Either it's a name that tune, or it's a masked singer, or if it's a joke, or it's a rebus puzzle, or a word scramble. So this is one of the jokes that I did with the students, and I made all of the graphics with Canva. What did the shark say when he ate the clownfish? This tastes a little funny. Usually I get a lot of eye rolls and groans from my jokes, but that's okay. They're 10. I expect that. Now, why Canva? Okay, so let's explain a little bit about what Canva is first. Canva is a free online graphic design site. It's used by businesses. It's used commercially all the time. If you go onto Teachers Pay Teachers, or if you go to Pinterest, or if you are a follower of Humble Warrior, you are going to see a lot of the graphics that they use there on the elements in Canva. It is an awesome site, and you can do so many things with it. Now, there is a paid premium version of it that businesses use where you get access to everything. There's also a teacher educator version that you have to apply for. I'm still waiting for my application process to go through. But usually you can make do with the free elements that they have there for you. Now, how did I get into Canva? Well, like many of you, this summer, I was concerned about how I was going to approach teaching virtually, hybrid, in class without being able to use the tools that I normally use in class, like instruments, because of the sharing and such. So I spent a lot of time taking professional development classes online. And one of the ones that I took was led by a music educator from Ohio whose name is Aileen Miracle, and she offered a Tech for Music Teachers class, and one of the things that was offered was Canva. So I tried it out this summer, and I totally got hooked. It makes things look nice. You can do a lot of things with Google Slides, but there are just some things that Canva cleans up better. It provides an opportunity for some creativity. So we all get stuck in a rut of teaching and doing the same thing over and over and over again. This provides just a little bit of creativity. And as my students will tell you, I have a tendency to be a little bit extra. And so I like to make things look nice and go over the top with some of the silly things that I do because, again, it does grab their attention. Now, these are examples of things that I have done with Canva so far this year. These are form headers for Google. So if you're giving a quiz or you have an assignment and you would like to make them all look the same so that the kids know, or this one's a quiz, this one's for this, you can do header toppers for your Google Forms. So the first one on the page is the one that I used for my instrumental music sign up. The next one was for assignments that had to do with beat and tempo. And then the last one I'm using for quizzes. I figure if I make it look pretty and I put an exclamation point next to it, the kids will be excited to take a quiz. I've also used it to make themed Google site headers. So we all needed to create our emergency subplans should we happen to be out. So I created a Google site that I have information about beatboxing in. So the top one is the main idea of what beatboxing is, and then every um, subsequential page of my site has the bottom one in it, and I can just I could type in what I wanted for that particular topic. I've also made game boards to play online games with my students. So the top one is a letters of the musical alphabet game that I played with them. I created the whole board on Canva, and then I took the picture. I downloaded it as a PNG. I took the picture, transferred it to a Google slide so that I could move the pieces, and I'll show you more about that one afterwards. This one was a 7-Up game, again, letters of the musical alphabet. And this bottom game right here is a Connect 4 game, so I created the whole game board on Canva, did the same thing, took a PNG of it, put it onto a Google slide, and made the Connect 4 pieces to cover the answers as the students get them correctly. You can also make calendars. Okay, so here is my back to school calendar of what days we're going to be cohort A, cohort B, so I can keep track of where I need to be because I will be on a cart. The flyer is one that my colleague Amy Wells and I used to distribute our information about band and chorus this year. I've also made instruments for the students, and I'll show you more about that in a moment. And so, like I said, I'm a little extra, and I also make menus to put on my refrigerator. Everybody in my home is at home all the time, and they're always asking me what's for dinner. So if I make a meal menu, then they can just pick what they want off of it, and we go from there. The most fun thing for me to do is the Google Classroom banners. Okay, you can see how I've kind of progressed throughout the year. The top one is from September. This is our October one, and this is my current one for November. Like I said, I'm going to be on a cart for a while, so I'm not decorating my room because I will not have any students in it. So basically, this is for me to have bulletin boards. The students do know when I've changed them, they can tell, and that usually gets their attention as well. All right, so let's head over to Canva so that I can teach you how to make your own Google Classroom banner. All right, so to get to Canva, all it is canva.com, and this will land you on this page. Now, you are going to have to sign up for an account. It is free, though. And with your free account, you get access to all of the different types of materials that they have for you to choose from. You can, if you can see scrolling through here, Google Classroom headers, that's where we're going to go in a moment. But if you would like to make a calendar and put your kids' pictures on it, you can do that. If you want to, if you're an Instagrammer and you want to put an Instagram post up, you can use it for that. They have a whole section on school. Okay, so you can make all kinds of information for your students. You can make worksheets. You can do lesson plans. If you're doing a little yearbook project for your class, you could probably do it on that too. Class schedules. So it's really good information. So let's go to Google Classroom headers. And I'm just going to type it into the search. Google Classroom header. There it is. And it's going to take us right over there. So there are all kinds of different templates that you can use for anything that you're doing in Canva. Okay, there's all kinds of different ones. Let's say you wanted to use a template one. All you would have to do is click on elements if you wanted to keep them or save them or adapt them. I kind of like the fact that I can make my own. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to choose a blank one today. And this is what you'll get. Literally a blank Google Classroom header. So first thing is you probably want to choose your background. So you can do it one of a couple different ways. One is you can go to background. So if you click on background, you're going to see all kinds of different options come up. You're going to see different colors to choose from. You're going to see different pictures to choose from. Now, how do you know which ones are free and which ones are premium? If I scroll onto the picture, you are going to see it'll say free, free. Most of our backgrounds here are free, but occasionally you do get some that will have a little crown on it, and it will be the pro version, and those are the ones you have to pay for. Now, if you do choose to get you're in love with one of those pro elements, you can just buy one. You don't have to buy a whole pro membership into Canva, and they're $1 basically. But there's plenty of free ones, so I wouldn't even bother doing that. All right, or let's take a look at the colors. And let's say I wanted to use a color, but I'm not loving any of the colors up at the top. They're okay, they're basic colors. Let's say I want to be more creative with my colors. I'm going to choose new color. And you're going to get this whole spectrum here, and you can take the slider and move it through the color spectrum until you get kind of a cool color that you like. Okay, so you can go through the whole thing here, which is kind of neat. All right. Let's skip that though, and I'm going to go to photos because photos has some pretty neat images that you can use for your themed Google Classroom header. Let's say we want to do Thanksgiving. All right, so now you're going to start to see those little crowns pop up. Those are the premium pro ones. Those are the ones you have to pay for. But like I said, there are plenty of free ones to use. For example, here's a good one. This is pretty. Let's use that one. All right, now you have to adjust it to fit into the size of the thing. So you can just click and drag. Move it along. Now don't feel, this is the nice part about Canva. Let's say you really like the picture, but it's not fitting in where you want it to. Does it have to be in the square completely? No, you can move it to however you would like it. Okay, just move it up and down. You'll have a great different perspective. Now here's the thing with this one, with a Google Classroom header. All of the information about your class will be in this left-hand corner. So you might want to find one that does not have quite as much, or just kind of, you can adjust this, slide it over, make this bigger. And now you have more blank space for your classroom to show up on. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move over here. All right, so you can do something like that. Or if you so choose, you could do something like this instead. Oh, wait, let me get that one out of there. So if you don't want it, click on it, boom, gone. Here's kind of a pretty one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stretch it out. It's already got that light part on the left-hand side, so that's kind of cool. You don't have to adjust it. All right, there. Now it's on my classroom header. But let's say I think these colors are too vibrant for a background. I want to mute them a little bit. I'm going to go up to the top here where it has that transparency thing. It looks like a checkered flag. I'm going to click on that. Right now it's set for 100%, but I want it to be muter. So I'm going to slide this back a little bit and now move it to about 50%. And now it's a little bit more subtle, and any of the other information that I put on here will stand out a little bit more. All right, let's go to elements. Elements is the next thing that you can use to layer on top of your background. So let's look for something November-y. Let's do turkeys. Okay, so we have a wide selection of turkeys to choose from. Some of them are the pro ones, so we won't be able to use those today. But let's say we have, let's use this turkey right here. Well, this guy's kind of cute too. All right, let's use this guy. All right, so here's my turkey, and I am going to move him around a little bit over the top. And I am going to position him right here. And boom, now I have a turkey on my background. Like I said before, I'm a little extra and I like to use my Bitmoji for things a lot. So I'm going to go up here. I have loaded my Bitmoji extension on for Chrome. I can use it on my school stuff. I'm not doing it through my school account, so it's okay. And now I'm going to pull up a Thanksgiving one. And I am going to pick, let's see, I'll just pick me saying Happy Thanksgiving. Now to do this, you can click copy image, Control V, and it should show up. Oop, Control V. It's got the white background. See, I don't want that, so I'm going to get rid of that. Takes a little bit of trial and error, but that's part of the fun. You get to experiment. Let's see. What other free ones do we have here that we could use? Anything kind of fun? Let's see. I could pick. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of my turkey here, but I'm going to pick a Bitmoji of me first. I'm going to put it in. Get rid of my turkey. And now I'm going to make myself just a wee bit bigger. And I am going to go for that pilgrim hat. Okay, so I'm going to put a pilgrim hat on my head now. This is where it gets fun. So now you can click and drag. You're going to put it about where your head is. Now, do you see this little arrow thingy here? I can adjust the angle of how I want that. And now I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Adjust it a little bit. And now I have a pilgrim hat on my head, and it looks like it's actually supposed to be there. Ta-da! Oh, they're giving us a pie too. That's pretty good. All right. Usually if you select something on Canva, they will give you some recommendations that go with it. So they have given us some. Let's try them. All right, these are pretty good. So let's do this. Let's set a table with Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm going to look for, I'm going to take this pie and I'm going to, oh, a gourd. Okay, that's pretty good. I can do something with that. And what else are they recommending? Oh, some corn. There we go. And some, what else is here? A pumpkin. See, these are all great elements. So I'm just going to store them here for a moment, and then I'll come back to them. What's this guy? Another pumpkin. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm going to look for a table. And now I have tables. Okay, so again, I see ones that are free and ones that are not. So I'm going to choose one that's free, obviously. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to move it over here just a tiny bit. And now I'm going to use these elements that we had before, and I'm going to decorate my table for Thanksgiving. Move my pie up. Now, I want my pie to look like it's sitting on the table. So I'm going to slide it down, but I'm going to change its position. I'm going to move it forward, and now it will sit right on the table. So that position button is a great thing because you can change where things are going to lay on your layout. I'm going to make my table a little bit bigger. Okay, now I'm going to take my gourd and I'm going to change the size of it. I'm going to take a pumpkin and I'm going to change the size of it just a little bit. Okay, I want that to be on the table as well. So I'm going to move that forward. And it's behind the pumpkin, which is the pie, which is exactly what I want. I'm going to take this pumpkin and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to move it over to the table. I'm going to change its position. Now I'm going to take my gourd. And my gourd is cute, but right now it's behind the pumpkin, so I need to change it and move it forward. There it is. And I'm going to change the angle of it because, you know, why keep everything standing up straight? And I am going to take the corn and I'm going to adjust the size a little bit. Slide it over here. Change the angle. Whoop, change its position first. And now I'm going to change its angle. All right, now the corn and the pumpkin are the same color. So here's the neat thing. I like the pumpkin, but I want to change its colors. I like the shape of it. So up in the left-hand corner over here, you're going to see all the colors that make up that pumpkin. If I want to change one of the colors, so like that yellow color is the same as the corn, I can click on that yellow color, and now I have a whole bunch of different colors to choose from. So I'm going to choose something a little bit darker so that corn stands out a little bit more. Maybe something in this vein, and then it changes that color. Not crazy about that. How about this? Sure, there you go. Now you can really see that corn a lot better. It stands out. So you can just change certain elements of it. You could change, I'm still in that. So if I wanted to change this yellow color here, this gold color, which is right here, I'd have to click on it at the top, but then go back to the palette that I have to choose from, and then I can just pick another color. So let's say if I pick brown, and now I've changed just that color. What if I want to change that weird little green color in the back here? So I would click, whoop, not that one, this color, and I would choose, let's say, there. And now I have changed the color of my pumpkin to what I would like it to be. Ta-da! There you go. So there's me with my Thanksgiving table and my pilgrim hat. And now I'm going to add in some text. So when you go to text, there's lots and lots and lots of different things that you can do to get the fonts that you want, or just parts of the fonts. So you don't have to use the whole thing. You can just use part of it. So let's use something that kind of fits our theme here. Here we go. Let's try this one. Okay, so that is what's going to appear on your screen. But what you can do is you're going to click in. And now I'm going to type Happy Thanksgiving. Now it's obviously way too big, so I can either condense it down this way, or I could actually go up to the top and scroll and change it that way. But now I'm going to move this a little bit, because right now it's right in the place where our Google Classroom information for your classes are going to be. All right, now I can change the color on this too. So it says text color. I like that brown, but I don't think it's dark enough. So I'm going to change it to a darker brown, and there you go. How about, yeah, I like that brown. Let's go back to that one. And now you have a Google Classroom header themed for the occasion. Now you could obviously do it for whatever you wanted. It doesn't have to be for the month or the season. It could be for the topic that you're using. It doesn't really matter. But experiment, have some fun with it. Now, what do you do with it when you get it this far? Okay, you're ready to upload it to Google Classroom. So first thing you want to do is you are going to want to name it. So I'm going to name this one November Sample. Okay, now it is saved. Now I'm going to download it. Okay, and it's suggesting a PNG, which is what I would recommend as well. And you just download. And of course, they'll try to get you to get Canva Pro for 30 days, which is very tempting, but just say no, because you can do most of this stuff for free. And now it's going to be down here. So what you're going to want to do is go to Google Classroom. So I'm going to open mine up right now for you so you can see. And Classroom. Now I made one earlier today, or I actually updated one that I had made on Staff Development Day. So I'm going to put that up into my masterclass one. So all I'm going to do is click on that. And this is what the original version of it looked like. And I really liked it, but I just wanted to adapt it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Upload Photo. And I can either drag a photo, so one of these from down here, or I can select a photo from my computer. So if I've done that, I'm going to do this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so these are my downloads. So this is the one I'm going to put in right now. It's labeled as December Google Classroom Banner PNG. I'm going to click on that, and now it's going to upload. And there it is. Okay, so it's not going to grab everything. It'll grab a lot of it, but it's not going to grab everything, which would be nice, but sometimes you don't want the whole thing. Sometimes you want just a little bit. So I'm going to select this as my class theme. And there it is. And that's all you have to do to make a Google Classroom header on Canva for your class. And pretty simple, still lots of fun. All right, now, I told you before that I would show you different ways that I have used Canva for materials for my class. So let's take a look at those right now. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is a game board. Now, I made the actual game board on Canva. So all of the start, all of the letters, winner, the little music banner, what's that note, that was all done on Canva. But I want to be able to move certain parts of it. So what I did was, again, I used my Bitmojis, but I'm using them for game pieces this time. And then I made a stack of cards. So this game is pretty much played like Candyland. I used the card directions and I made a bunch of cards for the kids. And depending on whose turn it was, and we reveal a card. I move it off to the side. And the first card says, go back to A. All right, well, we're starting the game. So I'm going to say Team Chicken is going to move right over here to A. And that's their spot. Okay, the second card would be 2 notes after F. So 2 notes after F would be A, and I'm going to move Team Kitty Cat over there to A. Now, the rest of the game is played like that. In order to make the cards, I just use the shape tool, and I made rectangles, and I typed on them, and then I just made colored rectangles of the same size to cover them so that the kids wouldn't see what the answers were going to be before they got there. Now, I have 8 homerooms a day. I'm sorry, not a day, in a 2-day period. So I needed to be able to reset this game without actually having to physically click and drag everything back over. So the easy way to do that is I went to version history and I named my original version as reset. So now I'm going to go to version history and I'm going to look for reset. There it is. I'm going to click on reset and it says restore this version. Yes, please. And now I am back to the original. So I don't have to move everything physically by myself. I just have to click that reset button and it will do it for me. I learned that at a webinar for Simple K-12, gamifying your classes. It was super easy. Another thing that I have done with my kids is we're learning how to read notes. And so I made a xylophone for them. Okay, so I made this part up here with the notes. I made that on Google Slides, but I made this part right here on Canva. Now, the part that I needed to add was the sound element of it, which you can do. So I recorded myself playing on my piano, the pitch G and the pitch E. I downloaded it into a converter for MP4 to MP3, cloud converter, and then I uploaded those pitches, and so now they actually have those pitches to play on. So that's another way that I have used it. The final part of what I want to show you today is how I have used Canva in one of the teaching elements that I have started to use, which is called Pear Deck. Pear Deck is a online learning tool. I don't know how best else to describe it, but it's really fun and it's very interactive with the kids, and you get immediate feedback from them by what they're doing on the screen, and I'll show you about that in a second. So let's take a look first. Okay, obviously this was before Halloween, and I took them through. So I made all of this stuff on Google Slides because I wanted to be able to manipulate it. So I gave them a word scramble, And I made this one a Pear Deck slide. Now, how do I do that? Okay, well, I added Pear Deck on to my in add-ons. Okay, Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on. I just added it in there. I had to do a search for it, found it, added it in, and then I can open up any of my lessons in Pear Deck. So I make all of my slides on Google Slides or in Canva, and then I do the Pear Deck add-ons afterwards because not everything is going to require them to write on it or to draw on it or whatever. So I'm going to open that up. And there we go. So you'll see this information on the side. Now, Pear Deck is really awesome. Like I said, it's a great interactive tool with the kids. My kids really enjoy it. They fight with each other to, well, not fight with each other, but they race with each other to put the information up first. They're like, "Are we doing Pear Deck today?" And they have to race to put that up there. And they like to share the code with each other, and so they like to do things like that because they're 10. So, in order to get a lesson started with Pear Deck, you do start lesson. But I want to show you some of the elements that you do first. So let's take a look. There's a text tool, so if you want the students to type. There is a multiple choice one. The number one is, let's say you wanted to give them a word problem. Their answer is a drop-down menu. You can take them directly to a website by having them put it on there, although it is only for the HTTPS, the protected and safe ones. They will not allow anything like a YouTube video on there. Drawing, which is great, especially for things that I do because I have them writing note names on the staff. And draggable. Draggable is also really good. Draw and Draggable are only available for the premium accounts. The district does not pay for Pear Deck Premium. So for me to continue to use this with my students, I will have to pay the fee to do that. Should I have to? I don't know, but it is definitely worth it for the kids. Audio, you can also add audio to slides. So let's say you're a foreign language teacher, or you're giving a spelling test and you want the students to identify which note is, sorry, not which note, which word is being spoken, or you want them to spell it afterwards. There you go. You can use the audio to slide too, and it's super easy to do. You just click on it and it says record and you click record. Or if you already have a recording, you can just upload it. Super, super easy. All right. So I am going to show you a Pear Deck activity that I created for Staff Development Day using some of the Canva elements. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from the teacher's perspective and from the student's perspective. So I'm going to open up my Pear Deck demo. And I am going to open this in Pear Deck. I made a slide for each of the main elements for Pear Deck. So there'll be one using the drawing tool, one using the number tool, multiple choice, things like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the lesson and I'm going to get a code so that I can log in as a student so I can show you from both perspectives. I know how to do this a little bit. So when you have your kids join, they are going to type into the search bar, join. Actually, I shouldn't say that. www.joinpd.com. And when they do that, it will show up as this. And then you're going to have them type in a code. Now, there's another way of doing this, but for our purposes today, I'm just going to show you this way. So I'm going to go back to my Pear Deck demo, and we're going to start my lesson. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can do instructor paced activity, where you control how fast or how slow we move through the activity. Okay, that's really good for synchronous learning. Student-paced activity is one that you can assign for the students so that they can work at their own pace. But right now we're going to do instructor pace, so I'm going to click on that. Okay, I'm going to start a new session. And it's going to give me a code to put in so that I can show you what it looks like from the student's perspective as well. This is usually when they're putting in the chat, what's the code? What's the code? And they always give some silly acronym for it as well. So today's code is MFZWSE, and like I said, taking forever to put up there. I don't really need this. Misty flashlights, zestfully wish stoic elephants. If nothing else, it builds their vocabulary. So I'm just going to close this out because we don't need that code right now because I have it right here. I'm going to close this out. I'm in teacher mode here. I'm going to use this code, MFZWSE, to join as a student. MFZWS, MFZWSE. It will ask them how they're feeling today. They can totally skip that, but it is kind of nice to know for the social and emotional learning aspect of this. So I'm going to say I'm in a great mood today. All right, so this is what it looks like from the student's perspective. I'm going to jump back 1 second. I'm going to go back to the teacher's perspective. All right, so this is what the teachers are seeing. Right, and if I go back to student, it looks very similar, except now I have all these colors on here. So if you're a morning person, you're going to color the sun. If you're a night owl, you're going to color the moon. If you're one of those mid-afternoon people who catches a second wind, you're going to color in the stars. So I am kind of a mid-afternoon person. So I'm going to color my stars, and I can do it a couple of different ways. I can use my sizer tool, and I'm just going to click on that. And I can make the point of my coloring big or small. I'm going to use middle. And now I'm going to color in my stars. I'm just going to put a little blop on each one. All right, now what does that look like from the teacher's perspective? All right, well, I'm going to jump over there. And I can click on Show Responses. Okay, and this is my response. If there were more students on here, I would be able to scroll through and see what every child is doing. It is anonymous, so they don't have to put their name on it. Many of them do because they're proud of their work, which is awesome. You can look at it like this, or you can do it in an overlay, in a grid layout. So you would see all the students laid out like that. All right, so there's the first slide. That's what the coloring tool does. You control it from the teacher's side. So in order to get to the next one, I would just click. All right, so now the next one is using a website. So I'm having them go to a website that I use frequently with my students, Chrome Music Lab, and it's asking them to scroll around and find the experiment called Kandinsky. And here's Kandinsky. Okay, so I'm going to click on Kandinsky, and the website takes me right to it. It's great. They don't have to type it in. They don't have to hunt around. They just go right to it. If I do draw with my mouse with Kandinsky, oh, look, it makes a smiley face. And then I can play it. If I change the colors, I get different sounds. But that is what Kandinsky, that's what the web tool does. It takes them directly to a safe and protected website, and you can see what they're doing on that. So let's take a look. Okay. Oh, no, you can't. I take that back. I'm sorry. I knew that, and I forgot. All right, so that is that one. Let's go on to our next one. All right, so for this one, this is one using a number tool. Like I said, I made this one for Staff Development Day, so I obviously made this for more teacher-oriented. This one wasn't how many years you have been teaching, but how many years until you can sit on a beach full-time as your job. So basically, when are you retiring? And from a student perspective, it looks like this. And I don't know if they have a million years on here, but I'm going to give it my best effort. Oop. So I can go up, let's say 10. Okay. So if, let's say you made this into a word problem, that would be super easy to use the number tool over here. By the way, this slide I did make on Google Slides. I did not make it on Canva because all of these cool elements, the sun chair, the pineapple and the coconut, even the table, were all paid elements. So I just did it in Google Slides. One thing when you're doing it in Google Slides, you want to make sure that you are using transparent so that it looks like it's supposed to be there and not you have the white background with it. All right, let's go to our next one. All right, this one was mark where your dream vacation destination is. So they have different markers that you can use. This is what the students see. So they can click their whatever one they want to use and move it to wherever they would like to be. Obviously, you can change this as well. Let's say you were talking about what country is, France, and you would, okay, well, you can move the flag to whatever. So you can change this area too. This is one of the templates that Pear Deck comes with. So let's see, my dream vacation destination. And I know it sounds silly, but it's where we go every year and it makes me happy. Right there in Central Florida, in Orlando. I love me my Disney World. So that is where I would put mine. And it's just a click and drag activity. It's nice and easy. Now this one I had played a video, which I am not going to do right now, but oops. For this one, I had asked for the participants in the activity to, in 5 words or less, tell me how the song made you feel. So that's a writing one. So you would type your answer here. This is what the students see. So I would say happy and hopeful for this one because it was a really nice little song. It was a cover of Maroon 5's Memories done by a group called the One Voice Choir. So if you are interested in watching it, I highly recommend YouTube for that one. And the last one that I had for Pear Deck was, what is your favorite season? So this is a multiple choice one. Like I said, I like to add my Bitmoji onto things because it makes me happy, and the kids like to see what kind of trouble I get myself into. I have done slides where I am making pizza, and I have done holding a giant pumpkin over my head with my Bitmoji, and swimming with the sharks, and bumper cars, and all kinds of crazy things. So that kind of grabs their attention as well. So this is what the students are seeing on this one. This is our multiple choice. And then it really does act like a poll afterwards. So you can see, I'll show you on the other side of this. So my favorite season is spring. If I go to Pear Deck and ask to show responses, it works like a poll. So you could really take a poll of your students during class, and it would work like that. All right, I'm going to end this session with Pear Deck. So all I have to do is click End. And I'm not going to name it because this is just a sample going through, but you could totally put your whatever class, so period one, or the homeroom teacher's name if you're an elementary person, or whatever it happens to be. You can name your session. So for example, these are the teachers that I am dealing with this, their homerooms this trimester. So let's say it was Mrs. Lawrence homeroom, I would just put that, but I'm just not going to name it. And what does it say from this end? Okay, it says, that's it. Your teacher has ended this lesson. How did it go? And I think the teacher did a fantastic job, so I'm going to give her a big thumbs up. Okay, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is Canva and Pear Deck all put into one. And you can see how I have the elements combined for the two of them. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to ask. I'm always just a quick email away. It is Amy, spelled AIMEE, Coleman, COLEMAN, at SayrevilleK12.net. I hope you learned a little something about Canva and Pear Deck, and have a wonderful rest of your day.